world celebrates the 4th anniversary of the 4 astronauts who gained superhuman abilities from exposure to cosmic rays during a space mission. Since then, the team have become celebrities, and their impact has led to demilitarization and world peace. It's 1964 and Earth 828, and Reed and Sue are expecting a baby. The couple break the good news to Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm, who are incredibly excited for them. When Reed and Sue reveal they are expecting a child, the world prepares for the new arrival and questions whether the child will also have superpowers. Reed is particularly perplexed about whether the child will be normal or have alien abilities like them, and this causes Sue to do a superpowered scan, showing Reed that their son is perfectly normal. Meanwhile, Ben meets Rachel, a school teacher, and begins to fall for her. Months later, a rumbling occurs in the cloud and a fiery being proceeds from space known as the Silver Surfer, who has arrived Earth to declare that it has been marked for destruction by Galactus, a gigantic planet-devouring cosmic being. The Silver Surfer zooms off, leaving the planet in fear, consequently turning to the Fantastic Four to once again liberate the planet from the grip of alien terror. Johnny races after her and is left with a short alien message before she zooms off. Reed begins to study the disappearance of other planets chosen with great care and marked for destruction, in which before they were destroyed, the Silver Surfer was there. This verifies his claim, and the team decides to return to space to stop Galactus from coming to Earth. Johnny draws their attention to the message dropped by the Silver Surfer, and after a short brainstorming, the team addresses the planet, promising to find Galactus. With the fate of the world resting on their shoulders, the Fantastic Four once more launch themselves into space after tracking the Silver Surfer's energy signature and travel by the speed of light, ultimately arriving at a new planet, just as it is destroyed by Galactus' ship. Moments later, they are drawn in by a red beam from the massive ship, then the Silver Surfer appears. They are captured and brought to Galactus, who claims that he was once human like them. Years ago, he was a man from another world before he developed an insatiable hunger that has driven him to consume planets for sport. Galactus senses that Reed and Sue's unborn child has a rare cosmic power and could take on his hunger, liberating himself from it. Galactus offers to spare Earth in exchange for the child, so he induces Sue to go into labor. Consequently, they reject his offer and proceed to escape from the ship. The team is chased by the Silver Surfer as they escape the massive ship. Sue's contractions get worse, and despite this, she is able to assist the team escape the pursuing alien. She almost grabs Sue's baby, but Ben pulls them out into light travel, but not for long. As she returns yet again, this time, Johnny opens fire at her using laser beams, using the gravity from a neutron star, which inevitably destroys their light travel system. The team delays the Silver Surfer and are able to propel themselves back to Earth, before which Sue gives birth to a boy whom they name Franklin. The entire planet awaits as the Fantastic Four returns to Earth. Everyone is excited, but then, at a press conference, the world is informed that Galactus was not defeated, and that he will find Earth soon to take their baby boy, which is part of a deal to preserve Earth, but a deal too costly to accept. The people of Earth brand them as selfish, expecting them to give up Franklin to preserve billions of lives on Earth. But Sue makes it clear that she will never sacrifice her baby and will not be made to do so. Galactus tortures the Silver Surfer for her failure and sends her back to Earth. The team begins to contemplate multiple options, which comes to nothing as all evidence suggests that Galactus predates the universe, and it could take 10 years for them to understand his composition, a time they do not have. Johnny begins to decipher the language of the Silver Surfer, using his interactions with her and some deep space transmissions which Reed intercepted from her planet. Galactus' spacecraft has been confirmed to have reached Jupiter. Sue and Reed have an altercation because she thinks he is considering sacrificing Franklin to save the planet. But Reed defends himself by saying that it is his job to think of the worst-case scenario and devise a way of fixing the situation. As Galactus draws near, the protest against the superheroes escalate, so Sue takes Franklin to meet with the protesters, explaining that they will not sacrifice Franklin, but they will also not give up on the rest of humanity. Reed comes up with a plan involving the use of a teleportation system he has been working on to build large teleportation bridges across the Earth, so they can transport the entire planet to another solar system where Galactus cannot find them. The procedure begins, and the nations of Earth are seen conserving power to make it possible to pull off the teleportation plan. Reed speaks to Franklin, asking him to reveal if he has any super cosmic powers because he thinks that he's perfectly normal. In no time, the ship of Galactus arrives the moon, and at this time, all teleportation bridges have been successfully concluded. The Fantastic Four are ready to teleport Earth to a different dimension. The Silver Surfer arrives and begins destroying the bridges, crippling their teleportation plans. However, Johnny quickly stops her from destroying the last bridge in Times Square, and after getting her attention by speaking her language, he reveals what he learned from the transmissions, stating that her name is Shala Bal, and that she became Galactus's herald in return for sparing her planet Zenla. Johnny tortures her with memories of her planet's attack. Hearing transmissions from planets she helped destroy, Shala Bal expresses remorse but refuses to help and flees instead. Far away from Johnny, who chases after her pleading on behalf of Earth, but she advises him to give up the child or face the wrath of Galactus. Reed has run out of calculations and stares at Franklin, deciding that they have to bring Galactus to Earth, with a plan to lure him into the last teleportation bridge using Franklin as bait. But to do this, they will need a whole lot of power to teleport Galactus to another dimension instead of the Earth. Sounds like a good plan. They can only keep the portal open for 37 seconds to send Galactus to the far edges of the universe, and without his ship, to ensure he is stranded with no means to travel. Reed and Sue take Franklin to the center of Times Square, contemplating the efficiency of their plan, which would destroy a lot of lives due to a densely populated area. So Sue summons Harvey Elder, the owner of an underground city called Subterranes. She negotiates with Harvey to evacuate New York City's citizens into his city. Galactus's ship is seen piercing through the atmosphere as he descends, sending waves of destruction through the city. He quickly spots Franklin and makes his way through the city to capture the child, but then he is distracted, and Johnny grabs Franklin, who is replaced with a decoy. With just a few steps to the bridge, Galactus pauses, avoiding the trap, and discerns the true location of Franklin at the Tower of the Fantastic Four. The superheroes in this extreme circumstance give their best shot at preventing Galactus from taking Franklin, but he proves too strong, so Reed steps in one more time, destroying his propelling reactor. Galactus grabs Reed and stretches him to the farthest limit before Johnny and Ben slams him like a lightning bolt. Galactus grabs Franklin and prepares to feed on him when Sue unleashes a force field which gradually pulls the Titan towards the portal. Despite Reed warning Sue to stop as she could exceed her limit and die, she charges him to save Franklin and forget about her. Johnny activates the portal as Sue pushes even further. The countdown is activated and Reed dives in to rescue Franklin while Sue uses all of her powers to push Galactus into the portal. Moments later, Galactus tries to step out of the portal, so Johnny prepares to sacrifice himself to give Galactus a final push into the portal, but is stopped by Shala Bal, who sacrifices herself, pushing the Titan into the portal as it closes behind them. Sue dies from her efforts, and despite several attempts to revive her, Reed is unable to. He breaks into tears and places Franklin on top of Sue. Franklin touches his mom, and seconds later Sue is revived back to life to the amazement of everyone. Once again, the Fantastic Four have saved the planet, proving to be a force to be reckoned with and an ultimate band of superheroes. Reed and Sue refuses Franklin to wear a superhero outfit, concluding that it's too early for him. As the world celebrates their 5th anniversary, an alert is gotten, then the Fantastic Five race off to a new mission.
You've seen the book that Franklin loved?
This is Falcon Recaps. Thanks for watching.